Welcome back to a new season of ISVs on Tap, and I am Josh Kelly, your host. Joining me today is my new friend. We became fast friends, actually. Is Chen with LifeSaver Mobile. Ted, thank you for jumping on the show and welcome.
Josh, thanks for having me. Really appreciate the time, and I'm excited to chat with you today and share a beer together as well.
Same, exactly. I love it, guys. I sold Ted short already. He is the CEO and co-founder / overlord of LifeSaver Mobile. All right.
Nice.
All right, Ted. Well, let's just jump right in here. Tell us a little bit about you. And if you don't mind, I'm sure that'll dovetail right into of the app here that we're talking about today.
Sure. Thanks, Josh. East Coast native, born on the East Coast, raised in what is now known as the DMV, which wasn't a thing until recently, I guess. District, Maryland, Virginia. Huge Redskin Commander fan, whatever you want to call it. So that's like the thing that one of the things I care about the most in life. I'll say that very publicly. And then, of course, I care about family and my company and everything else, but and friends, of course. But those are a little bit about me. And now I've been in California now for a long time, a few decades. Came out to be part of Silicon Valley. So our company's based in Silicon Valley. We're a software company. We'll get into that, I'm sure, in a little bit. And really came out because I was enamored with what was happening here in the Bay Area, as far as just it's a cradle technology. It was and continues to be really the epicenter of all, not all, but of a lot of tech innovation. And you've seen over the years, and I've seen this personally, how innovation has come in waves, right? Like you had the internet, and now you have AI, and so it's just happening over. And even before that, we had the chips, right? So the semiconductors was the first wave, and then the internet was the second wave, and now we have AI being the third wave. So very cool stuff, and I love being here and experiencing it firsthand. So,
and the weather out there is pretty nice too, isn't it?
Yeah, there is that too.
a little better than the DM. I almost said DMV.
I do that too. I get it mixed up.
Yeah, man. There's a big difference between the two. That's for sure. So, all right. So, were you around for the at the time, the Redskins Super Bowl run with Doug? Was it Doug Williams?
Yeah. Well, so a lot of people don't know this. They had one Super Bowl coach for four different Super Bowls, and we won 3 of them with 3 different quarterbacks. So that's pretty rare, which means the coach was a genius, was a genius, Joe Gibbs. And so, yeah, Doug Williams was one of them. Mark Rippon, who I just recently saw a picture of, he looks really good. He's still in great shape. And then Joe Theismann. So they're all actively involved somehow in the alumni. I could talk forever on this. I shouldn't. I'll stop now.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I just remember Doug Williams winning the Super Bowl, and Mark Rippon, of course. So you transferred, or you traveled out to California for the land of opportunity. It was like a modern day gold rush out there with Silicon Valley, really, is the way that I view it. So tell us how you came. Tell us about LifeSaver Mobile, then. How did you come up with this, and tell us what it is?
Yeah. As I said, been here for a while. Started, large companies in tech here, and then over time, it's innovation, right? So the bug, sooner or later, you get bitten by that bug. So about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, I started this company, LifeSaver Mobile, and it was born just like most startups at the time, by personal a personal interest in a problem that was perhaps a pain point for the founder, right, or founders. In this case, our kids were learning to drive. They were getting their licenses, and so we knew even way back then that this was going to be a problem. The problem being mobile distraction, right? So we all know now. Fast forward 10 years later, the problem hasn't gone away, which is crazy, right? There's so much effort, so much mind share around this problem, and yet it doesn't go. It actually doesn't even decline. It's gone stronger and stronger, unfortunately, every year. And here's the thing, Josh, is that for companies, which we ended up pivoting from B2C to B2B very quickly, and we realized that was kind of the right business model. Companies are like they're basically big shiny targets for litigation, right? And of course, we live in the most litigious nation in the world, and so you get a fender bender with a commercial truck with a logo on the side of it, and guess who's paying tens of thousands of dollars for settling that quote unquote injury, right? So you go to any city in the U.S. and you see the plaintiff's attorney billboards everywhere, right? So that's what companies are trying to solve for. Is this underlying is the insurance problem? But guess what? The insurance problem comes about because of the phone, right? So the phone, actually, most people don't know this. If you look at the insurance industry, commercial auto for sure, even personal auto, they used to be profitable vertical, industries. And ever since the phone was invented, the smartphone, they crossed into negative territory very quickly, and they've continued. Like commercial auto has lost money every single year for the last 10 years, and that's what they're trying to increase premium every year, and they still can't catch up to the losses. So what does that tell you, right? So that's what the problem is, and that's what companies are trying to solve for: is how do I protect our company, of course our employees, and the existence of literally it could be existential for many companies if they get into a, God forbid, a nuclear verdict, right? And for those of you who don't know, nuclear verdict is a settlement of $10 million or more, which unfortunately has become like a commonplace term these days. So anyway, I'll stop there for a second, take a breath.
Yeah, no, that's good. So LifeSaver Mobile addresses what I would perceive as a public safety issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Born out of trying to protect your own kids in a
Correct.
very populous area, right? I'm not saying that someplace like Iowa or rural Kansas wouldn't benefit from this, but from a concentration of people and cars and assets, both car assets and human asset, makes a lot of sense for a place like Silicon Valley to start this, plus the technology aspect of it. So tell us how this thing works, Ted. We download, let's say, a truck, because we're using kind of a business model here. I'm a truck driver. I got a tablet in the console of the truck, or some sort of a mobile computing device. So walk me through that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So first, I want to just kind of clarify something for your audience, which is the word fleet, which we use all the time, right? In fact, I just came back from one of the biggest fleet events of the year last week. But the word fleet is actually misconstrued by people who aren't in the industry, right? Because you think of fleet, and most people in their heads, they think of, that's an 18-wheeler, right? But actually, to be honest, the word fleet should mean, or it does mean to us and into our industry, any company that's operating a population of vehicles. And here's the and it could be like light duty trucks, like your service vans and that kind of stuff. So it could be private passenger vehicles that are just being driven for work purposes, and it could be here's one I want to open the audience's eyes to. It could be a personal vehicle reimbursed for mileage, because that is also liability that falls to the employer. So all those vehicles fall under the definition of fleet. And so you can imagine that the world of fleet is massive, actually, or even in this country, the world of fleet is massive. So we're talking like just if you just talk commercial vehicles that are owned and operated by the company, probably like 30, 40 million commercial vehicles in the U.S., in North America. And then if you add on what we call the gray fleet means personal vehicles driven for work purposes. Like, think of your home health nurse, clinician, who's driving every single day, thousands of miles a month on the road to visit patients' homes and care for them. Those are all reimbursed for mileage. And guess what? Any liability is shared by the employer. So if you throw in all those gray fleet vehicles, we're talking, who knows, like 50, 60 million, right? So it's a big number. So I just wanted to educate your audience on the term fleet. And then back to your original question. So how does this work? So typically, we work with company work issued devices, right? Because it's a hell of a lot easier to deploy on a work issued phone or tablet, because you own it, you control it, you get to do whatever you want with it, right? So whereas, of course, distraction comes on the personal side too, and of course, it's difficult for companies to even motivate. Mandate's almost out of the question in most cases, but motivate employees to opt in their personal phone. We have ways to do that. We teach companies how to do that. Our software can be toggled, so it's only automatically on during the company inside the company vehicle. All that stuff is good, but at the end of the day, it's super hard unless you have conviction and you have leverage to get it on a personal phone. So our ideal customer is work issued devices, phone or tablet, iOS, Android, and how it's deployed. Just to kind of give you to answer your question in a long-winded way, it's usually through MDM, because at scale you don't want to have you don't want to have the friction of doing deployment through what we do is an SMS method if you don't have an MDM. But again, most companies are operating at scale with large number of devices and an MDM, and so we love MDM. MDMs are like our sister, right, or brother, or whatever you want to call it. So so you could deploy our app-based solution onto thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. We've done this in one fell swoop, and literally be done with your deployment in under a couple weeks, right? So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool from the ease of deployment, but it's also cool because it gives you, the fleet, the enterprise, the ability to start saving money from the number one cause of crashes immediately, versus a lot of other hardware-based solutions. It takes forever to get deployment done. And then, of course, once you get deployment done, then you can start saving money. But with us, it's like, oh, you can save money within 60 days, right? Or 30 days, right? And suddenly you get the savings that you can benefit from and start to do other things with that budget. So anyway, I could go on and on, but I'll stop there and see if hopefully I answered your question.
Yeah. No, I think that's the ease of deployment through an MDM is huge, right? I mean, that's a major hurdle in some cases, especially when you have devices deployed, let's say, throughout multiple states or across the country. That's massive. And we need to talk offline about some of the MDMs, because I have some that if you aren't working with already, I think you should be.
That'd be great.
So what does explain? So Josh downloads LifeSaver Mobile on his device, on his work device. Tell me what it does then, or what does it do to help for in this process?
Yeah, absolutely. So the number one thing that gets people in trouble is playing around, not playing, but going into their phone and starting to manipulate it and see, oh well, because everyone's trying to multitask, right? We all multitask all day long, and so that's the number one problem: is you take your eyes off the road, you are in trouble. So what we do is we remove the ability to multitask. You cannot unlock your screen. If you unlock your screen, we're going to block you. So, I mean, obviously frankly, the one most popular exception to that screen use is navigation. In all my years of doing this, I've only heard like one or two exceptions where it's like, hey, I really need this. I need this other exception besides navigation. But really, for most fleets, and 99% of all fleets, it's like navigation is the only thing that I'm going to allow while they're driving. Anything else you need to access, you can do through voice. We don't block voice, and we allow Bluetooth. So that's the thing that we take away. We take away that ability to unlock your screen, start typing, start using your fingers to do stuff. As soon as you open the door to that, it's chaos.
Man, you know what? Admittedly, I'll do stuff on my phone when I'm driving, and I think I'm pretty good about it. But that's a gross overestimation of my ability. There's very few people in this country that can truly multitask in the sense of multitasking. One, I just want to make that point. And two, what you're doing is basically disabling the phone or device in the vehicle while it's moving or while it's moving, so you can't be distracted. So it's a risk mitigation. So not only is it for public safety, but it's a risk mitigation tool, not only for you, the driver, but other drivers and the insurance company. So you could potentially, and I'm kind of projecting some ideas. You install this on there on a device, Ted. Are you seeing a cost savings from the user of that fleet
Huge.
or the?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
so
anywhere from 50 to 60 to 70% reduction in claims annually, which is like huge, right? It's like, I mean, think about it this way. I mean, and I'm not even surprised that those numbers are the true numbers. But if you're going to take away people's ability to look at their phone because there's no reason to do that anymore, of course you're going to save money on claims. Think of how many fender benders there are because I was looking at you or I were looking at our phones and didn't pay attention to someone who stopped short in front of us. So that's literally what a lot of those claims are. And even a fender bender, as I said earlier, causes an injury to the plaintiff that, oh my gosh, my neck hurts and I'm going to need tons and tons of physical medical treatment, right? So it's a nightmare, and so that's what we're trying to protect against. And honestly, there's nothing you need to absolutely do during the drive that you can't do with voice. And that's why I want to say, make sure your audience knows this, right? This is not a all or nothing binary situation where we just shut the phone off the way, people might automatically kind of, cringe when they hear that, right? This is about staying productive because we know that we're all, wired to make sure that we do our work, but you got to do it in a safe way. So we force you, and that's a really important word for your audience, is we force them to use the phone in a better way. You can't unlock it anymore to type. That's wrong. You shouldn't do it, period.
Mandatory compliance, Ted.
That's right.
That's what we're talking about. So, all right. Well, listen. One last question.
Yep.
First of all, I think I may need to hit you up because I got a couple drivers. I got one driver in my house and one could be driver in my house, and I may need this. But the reason I want to do it is basically just lock them down, not for safety reasons.
I hear that all the time.
So the one last question is, who is it? What is an ideal reseller that you want to work with?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it could, and Josh, we didn't even really get to this, but I'll just throw it out there as a kind of a side comment so that people can hear this. So in our ecosystem, right? And I know you guys are big in your OEMs. You know, you got a lot of Zebra business and Honeywell and stuff. So we target any company who has employees that are operating vehicles on the road, in the warehouse, on the tarmac, or even on the railways, right? So literally think of all those situations where an employee is using a work issue device, and if they're distracted by that work issue device, then that massive liability is exposed. So any, you know, for all you channel partners out there, think about all those use cases, and you know, not just the road, because the road is our bread and butter, but tarmac, warehouse, and railway. And I'm probably not thinking of other ones that people are out there like, hey, what about this? What about that? Look, any vehicle that's in those contexts.
It moves, you can use it.
That's right. That's right.
So the world is your oyster, Ted. All right, guys,
Thanks,
listen,
Josh.
if this has been fantastic. If you want to hear more about what Ted has discussed here today on this podcast, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to make an introduction to Ted. I think Ted, and the other part of this too, I've had multiple conversations with Ted outside of this podcast. And I'm putting you on the spot here, Ted. I guarantee you, Ted is more than happy to set up a call with either you or your end customer to help facilitate the transaction if that's what you guys decide. So
absolutely.
Please reach out. We'll connect you with Ted. We'll get you his contact information. We like to share here on this podcast. We're good people. At least I think we are. And then that brings us to the namesake. Look at this. ISVs on tap, at least the on tap part. Ted, tell us a little bit about what's the beer selection you chose today?
Well, I kind of gave it away. I put it in the window here. It's a Fat Tire. It's an amber ale, and it's one of my go-to beers. Smooth. It's not too hoppy, and let's see. This is looks like it's. Well, I know everyone out there knows Fat Tire. I don't actually know where it's brewed here, but it says Asheville, North Carolina. So
Asheville, North. That's my. Is that part of the DMZ?
Woods, right?
Is that part of the DMZV?
It's part of that growing metropolitan area. So anyway, yeah, no, it's a good beer. And Josh, I'm happy that you could join me in a toast here.
Yeah, Ted. With that said, and guys, listen. Ted sent me the picture, by the way, but old JK3 here, as we say at BlueStar, because anyways, JK3. I got the wrong one. I got regular Fat Tire, but I will say I will be picking up some amber ale because this I think is good. And you're right, Ted. It has just a hint of hoppiness to it. It's not overly sweet either, which I like, but it has a good like a whole bodied beer flavor to me. Does that make sense?
Yep. Absolutely. So, I love it.
With that said,
cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. All right.
We hit another one, guys. Look at this, guys. This is the first time I'm doing this. Here's my can. Right there.
There it is.
And I'm going to set this guy right up here. This is the first episode of the new season 2 of ISVs on Tap. Ted, you're the man. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.